You're watching BCTV. We're all about Branford. You're watching BCTV, Branford Government Television, a service of Branford Community Television. This program is brought to you in part through the support of the town of Branford.
Yours has a nicer base than mine does. Comparing.
If you have out,
That's what I said.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I'd like to call the meeting to order. Have everybody's attention? Representative Brooks, your attention.
You couldn't keep my attention if you tried.
Okay, the R.T.M. will be convened on Wednesday, March 8th, 2023 at 8 p.m. in Branford Fire Headquarters, 43 North Main Street, to consider and act upon the following matters. Will everybody please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, item number 1, roll call.
Okay, good evening. I will call the following representatives' names. Alphone?
Here.
Amore?
Here.
Anderson?
Here.
Barron?
Here.
Black? Thank you. Bonenberger?
Here.
Brooks?
Present, ma'am.
Conklin?
Here.
Everson?
Here.
Erlanger?
Here.
Flanagan? Greenberg?
Online.
Online, thank you. Healy?
Here.
Henschel?
Here.
Hines?
Here.
Ingraham?
Here.
Kelly? Absent. Leach is here. Maresca?
Here.
Preet?
Here.
Ricchio?
Online.
Online, thank you. Shrestha?
Present.
Sires?
Present.
Stepanik?
Here.
Sullivan?
Here.
Torelli? Is she online? No.
Nope.
Okay. Toohill?
Here.
Verderam?
Here.
Witkowski?
No.
No. And Wells?
No.
No, okay. Ex officios, we have First Selectman Cosgrove and Town Clerk Arpin. That's it, thank you.
Moving on to item 2, approval of the minutes of the February 8th meeting. Do I entertain a motion for approval?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Representative Ingraham. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you.
Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The minutes are approved without exception. Item number 3, reception of communications, reports of committees, and citizens' petitions. I do have one letter. It's from the Superintendent of Schools, Hamlet Hernandez, and I'll read it. It's addressed to the First Selectman, but I think everybody should be aware of it. Dear First Selectman Cosgrove, on Wednesday, February 15, 2023, the Board of Education acted to rededicate the 1111 Main Street building back to the town of Branford. With this action comes to the close of an era in the Branford Public Schools and officially closes the move of the BPS central offices to their permanent location at 185 Damascus Road. We are appreciative for the many years that the old post office served as a central office for the Board of Education. The building served us well, and we in turn maintained it with pride and care. The building's underground storage tank was removed early this winter. Throughout the transition, that we work with the town's department to repurpose any furniture and equipment remaining on the premise. The building is old and in need of upgrades, and with its central location, the building is posed to play an important role in any revitalization of the town's historic district. As a practical matter, we will need to change the address from the BOE to the town on all utilities. Please let me know with whom we should name. And again, this is signed by Hamlet Hernandez. I'll give you that.
Thank you.
And I'll get you that.
Okay, thanks.
I have nothing. Do you have anything else? No?
Nothing else.
Okay, moving on to item 4, to adopt changes to the Forestry Commission and Tree Warden Ordinance. Representative Black.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Through you, as you know, R&O has been working on this through several months. I'd like to give a shout out in particular to Representative Henschel, who's been key in both the legwork and a lot of the ideas behind this. We do have a proposed draft that we've all received, are required 5 days prior. So with that, I'll put the committee unanimously recommends that the full R.T.M. adopt these changes and change the ordinance to read as per the attachments that we all received. So I'll put that in the form of the motion. Some key things is there is some alignment with the state statute. There's a requirement when on reappointment for the tree warden to confirm his passing of the required courses given by the Tree Warden Association of Connecticut. And there's also a new requirement that if anyone phones in a report on a tree that's maybe hazardous, that he investigate that tree. This has been reviewed by the town attorney. In fact, our last amendment was going through a few minor changes with the town attorney. Again, we've unanimously approved this after many months of meetings, so I hope the full R.T.M. will now adopt this as our ordinances for both the Forestry Commission and the Tree Warden. Thank you.
Okay, a motion on the floor by Representative Black to approve this ordinance for the tree warden. Any discussion from members of the R.T.M.? Representative Henschel.
Yeah, thank you, Representative Black. I could just add a few more notes to some of the things we did modify, just to add to the list of the things that Peter has already mentioned. But this change addresses both Article 1, which is a Community Forest Commission, and Article 2, which is the Tree Warden and Public Tree Protection clauses of the ordinance. So in Article 1, this ordinance was originally enacted in 2009, creating the Forest Commission. In taking a look at the current reading of the ordinance, it was clear that many of the things that were stipulated as roles and things that the commission was supposed to produce on a yearly basis were not considered by the commission to actually be roles that they were undertaking or wished to undertake. So we thought that we ought to realign that section with what they're actually doing, and we asked them to actually draft up the language that you see now, which reflects what the Tree Commission is in fact doing, and the report that they do annually, and their work on the annual Arbor Day event. We did clarify some fine points on compensation for some of the costs of the commission. We added a section which noted that they could use the town website to communicate with the public regarding reports that they generated and activities that they were undertaking. We added in a clause that allowed them to act, if requested, in an advisory role with the Planning and Zoning Commission on issues that the Planning and Zoning Commission might like input on. We also added an advisory role that the commission could play with the tree warden's activities regarding the management of town trees, shrubs, and other plants. Those were not in the current regulations. And we simplified the membership qualifications to bring them in line with the actual group. So that was basically what was done to Article 1. Article 2, which was the tree warden and the public tree protection portion of the ordinance, This was originally enacted in 2019, and it codified a lot of requirements that were actually in the state enabling legislation for this position. But there were some changes that we felt ought to be made. So on that Article 2, we clarified that one of the purposes of the tree warden included a role in removal of public trees where safety is deemed to be an issue. We clarified some of the definitions to make sure that they were more in line with definitions elsewhere in our ordinances and in state regulations, so there should be no confusion on any of the definitions used. We added language relating to the towns actually maintaining an on-call contract relationship with a licensed arborist, a singular relationship with an arborist or arborist consulting company. We added language under duties, reinforcing that the tree warden has a duty to communicate with the public regarding issues and information requests related to the management of town trees, and we added language that, again, stipulated that the tree warden would possibly, through the use of the town website, publicize a clear method for public communication between members of the public and the tree warden. So that's just the key points of the changes we made, but I think it brings it more in line with both the state enabling legislation and what's currently being done by the town. Thank you.
Anyone else from the R.T.M. wishing to speak to this?
Mr. Moderator.
Yeah, Representative Everson.
Thank you. Thank you, Representative Henschel, for all the work that you did on this. I know it was a lengthy process. I just want to point out that this came about because there was a constituent in actually the 2nd District who lives in Stony Creek who was driving down Leeds Island Road and a tree fell on the car. And thankfully, the driver was not injured, but if her husband had been in the passenger seat, he would not be with us. And as a result of that, we were requested to take a closer look at the tree warden ordinance and the Community Forest Commission, which is what was done and has resulted. And I think what this does is put more process in place that the public will be aware of and requires the tree warden to communicate with the public, keep lists, and let people know that you can, if there's a tree you may be concerned about that is near one of the roadways in Branford, you can contact the tree warden in this town and ask that the tree be looked at. And it's a matter of public safety. So I think that this is a good step and the changes are necessary. I'll be voting for it. Thank you.
Anyone else from the R.T.M. wishes to speak to this? Hearing none. All those in favor of the opposed ordinance there signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, it passes. The tree warden ordinance passes.
Tree warden and forestry commission.
Yeah. Okay, moving on to item 5, to consider and if appropriate, adopt a policy for virtual meetings into our town meeting rules. Representative Black.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Moderator, we've been discussing this again over many months. I think we're going to have a very shortened version of some rules that Representative Sullivan proposed, essentially making virtual meetings optional, but putting in the rules some provisions for the allowance for virtual meetings and how they'd be conducted. If we did have them, there's still some kinks and some questions to be worked out. So at this point, the committee's recommendation was to ask that we have this re-referred to us. I expect right now exactly when our next meeting is. There's a conflict with the Board of Finance, but because everybody else has conflicts on other dates, it probably will be a virtual meeting on the 21st. So anyway, I put the motion to re-refer in a motion and ask for approval. Thank you.
Okay, motion on the floor to re-refer this item. Any discussion from members of the RTM? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? The item is re-referred. Moving on to item 6, to consider and if appropriate, approve the appointment of James P. Cosgrove to fill a vacancy left by Judith Amore to the Greater New Haven Transit District, term to expire December 31st, 2023. Representative Verderam.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Through you, I would like to waive Rule 4.41. Admin services did not meet this month.
I'll second that.
A motion on the floor is to waive Rule 441. It's been seconded by Representative Ingraham. Any discussion from members of the RTM? Hearing none. All those in favor of waiving Rule 441 signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Rule's been waived.
All right, I mean, this is pretty self-explanatory. Passed the Board of Selectmen unanimously to appoint First Selectman Cosgrove to the Greater New Haven Transit District and fill the vacancy of Judith Amarone that Mr. Moderator just put forth. So I'd like to put that in the form of a motion.
I'll second the motion.
Motion is seconded by Representative Ingraham. Any discussion from members of the RTM? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? The item passes. Moving on to item 7, to consider and if appropriate, approve the attached resolution to continue Branford's participation in the Haz Waste Central Program for an additional 3 years. Representative Conklin.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. I also must move to waive Rule 441 as Public Services did not meet on this month.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion on the floor has been seconded to waive Rule 441. Any discussion from members of the RTM? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay.
Thank you. I will move that we approve the agreement with the Regional Water Authority to continue our hazardous waste agreement so that all of our constituents have a place to dispose safely of household hazardous material. We've had this agreement, the town has had this agreement for 33 years, and this will be my 3rd time bringing it forward to this body to approve it. So I move that we approve the agreement with the Regional Water Authority.
Okay, the motion on the floor, is there a second?
I'll second.
Representative Ingraham, any discussion? Representative Brooks?
Sorry. Through you, Mr. Moderator, and to anybody who can answer this, is there I get to ask this question a lot about the hazardous waste collection situation, and I never have the correct answer. Is there, through the website, avenue in which a human could find that information?
Yes.
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 So they, that was my question.
Nice.
So I can direct them to the town website. That's it.
I think
Thank
so.
you. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how that works.
Would you like to?
Any? Representative Black?
Would you like to address that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing you'll probably find it under the solid waste on the town website. It may redirect you to the Regional Water Authority, but it also comes out in the Earth Matters flyer that we all get, you know, what types of materials that you should bring there, you know, certain batteries, et cetera, what types of materials you can bring to the transfer station as well. So I found it myself, and it's just a matter of clicking the links that seem likely to lead to where you want to be. I think
See, now I have it. Now I have the directions.
Yeah.
Can I say something?
Yep, it's right in the middle of the site.
Representative Lynn, please.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Just a note for, I use Haz Waste all the time. So for Josh, you could just Google has waste and it'll take you right to the website, and you can actually sign up before you go and click off like boxes for what you're bringing, which makes the process much quicker. They want you to do that, in fact, before you show up. But it's a wonderful thing that we have access to, and if everyone would use it, it would be great. I mean, people line up. It's an amazing process. I bring batteries from my whole condo. I collect them all because they're only open from May to October. So, but it really is an easy process, and I would encourage everyone to use it. Thank you.
Anyone else from the RTM? All right, hearing none, all those in favor of the motion to approve this resolution signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? The item passes. Moving on to item 8, to consider and if appropriate, approve request from the Assistant Town Engineer for proposed storm drain easement location located at 182 Shore Drive, and to authorize the first selectman to execute the quitclaim deed and drainage easement document. Representative Verderam.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Once again, I would like to waive Rule 441. Admin services did not meet this month.
I guess I'll second it again.
Motion by Representative Verderam, second by Representative Ingraham. Any discussion, members of the RTM? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The Rule 441 has been waived. Representative Verderam.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. This is pretty straightforward. You all should have received this in your packet for this evening. We're correcting a little mistake here. We're literally swapping it, so now the easement is actually located where the drainage system is. So this seems pretty straightforward, and I put that in the form of a motion to move its favorable passage.
Second motion.
Second by Representative Black. Any discussion from members of the RTM? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The item passes. Item number 9, any other business to come before the RTM? I would just like to remind all our RTM members to upcoming budget meetings that will be coming up in the next several weeks. And, you know, it's very important to try to attend them, listen to their presenters and see what they're either presenting to increase or decrease. It would help because we're coming into the budget season itself, which we do in May. And I have nothing. Representative Black.
My wife reminded me today is apparently International Women's Day. I thought every day was.
Good job, Pete.
Okay, bye.
Okay.
That's it?
Selectman Cosgrove, would you like to say?
Since you brought up the budget, just remember, it's not where you start, it's where you finish. There's a long process.
All right.
All finance and RTM, it will all come to.
All right. All right, if there's no other business to come before the RTM, Representative Everson?
Thank you. I just want to let people know that on Monday there was an amazing program with 2 prisoners of war from Ukraine who were here in town. Representative Bonenberger's wife was instrumental in helping to bring them here, and they're on a tour of the U.S. and speaking. And if you get a chance, it was recorded by BCTV.
Oh, cool.
And you should watch it because it's a really sobering account, first person, of the experiences of these women who are taken prisoner by the Russians, and their experiences. And it also was an opportunity to highlight the need for the mental health concerns in that country that will be an issue for many years to come because of the ravages of war. So it really brought the war in Ukraine home to Branford. So would suggest you watch it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Representative Moore?
Yeah. Just one comment to follow up on Representative Everson's comments. I was there too. And one thing that I think many of us in the audience did not realize and it was an extraordinary revelation, was there was a woman there who was in the Army and was a combatant and was taken prisoner of war and was in prison for 6 months and came out and told her story. There was another woman there who was held as a civilian hostage, a woman who was bringing Ukrainian language books to an elementary school in a contested region near the eastern border. And her testimony was the most extraordinary. She was held prisoner for 3 years and tortured, and her discussion of that torture you will see on the tape. But I think most of what I took away from it is something that I just wasn't aware of, that there are nearly 1 million people held as civilian hostages, not prisoners of war, and about 700,000 children in addition held as civilian hostages. And the level of atrocity and war crimes is something I don't think we even have begun to understand. So there's some thought that we should be communicating with the federal government to, I'm not even sure what to do, but I know that there was some work done at the State Department level by these two women, and the need to pressure the world into condemning this. I mean, there are other countries in conflict doing the same kinds of things. Ukraine is right here. Ukraine is right in front of us. But watch the testimony. It's extraordinary. So.
Thank you. Any other business to come before the R.T.M? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
No,
Who said that?
Who said that? Representative Anderson, is there a second?
Second.
no.
Representative Black, all those in favor? Opposed?
Teeth tonight, what's going on?
Frank was very
This
quiet.
program was brought to you in part through the support of the Town of Branford. Watch town meetings and other videos on demand at BranfordTV.org.